Imagine this: a high-flying businessman in first class, confidently claiming his seat, not knowing he's about to insult the last person he should ever mess with, Chuck Norris. What do you think will happen when Chuck Norris is pushed too far? Will the arrogant businessman get away with it, or will he learn a lesson in humility? You won't believe how this shocking encounter unfolds, and trust me, it's something you'll never forget. So what do you think happens next? Stay tuned, and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment. This is a story you don't want to miss. Derek Langston, a successful but arrogant businessman, made the mistake of insulting Chuck Norris during a flight. Derek, fresh from a failed business deal, saw Chuck, dressed in his signature cowboy boots and leather vest, as out of place in first class. He rudely demanded that Chuck leave his seat, not realizing who he was speaking to. Chuck, unfazed by the aggression, calmly pointed out that Derek was in the wrong seat. When Derek continued to mock Chuck, questioning how he could afford such luxury, Chuck's response was calm but firm, teaching Derek that real success is measured not by wealth or appearance, but by how you treat others. As the situation escalated, Chuck revealed his true identity, causing Derek to realize he had just insulted one of the most legendary martial artists and respected figures in the world. Rather than humiliating Derek further, Chuck chose to offer him a life-changing lesson about humility and strength. Chuck explained that true power comes from within and from lifting others up, not from tearing them down. Derek, now humbled, reflected on his actions and saw the importance of character over superficial success. Chuck's calm and composed response, even in the face of Derek's insults, turned the situation into a valuable teaching moment. The viral video of the encounter not only became a symbol of transformation for Derek, but also served as a reminder to all that true class is about how we treat others, not the clothes we wear or the seat we occupy. Through this encounter, Derek learned that real success lies in self-worth, kindness, and humility, not material wealth. During a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris, known for his martial arts mastery and legendary status, found himself face-to-face with Derek Langston, a successful but arrogant businessman. Derek, frustrated after a failed business deal, wrongly assumed Chuck was out of place in first class, based on his modest attire. Derek aggressively demanded Chuck move from his seat, insulting him by questioning his ability to afford such luxury. Chuck, however, responded calmly and firmly, teaching Derek that success is not defined by wealth or status, but by how one treats others. The exchange grew tenser as Derek mocked Chuck's appearance, but Chuck, never losing his composure, stood his ground. At that moment, Chuck revealed his true identity, causing Derek's face to drain of color as he realized he had been insulting one of the most respected martial artists in the world. As Derek's confidence crumbled, Chuck delivered a profound lesson on true strength, emphasizing that it's not about putting others down, but about lifting them up, even when they try to tear you down. Rather than humiliating Derek, Chuck used the opportunity to teach him about humility and respect. Derek, now understanding the lesson, admitted his mistake and felt deeply humbled. Chuck's actions not only changed Derek's perspective on success, but also gave him a chance to redeem himself. The viral video of the encounter later highlighted Derek's transformation, showing that real class isn't about wealth or appearance, but about kindness and integrity. Derek learned that, ultimately, it's not the seat you occupy or the clothes you wear, but the lives you touch and the hearts you change that truly define success. On a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Derek Langston, a wealthy and arrogant businessman, confronted Chuck Norris, thinking he could easily intimidate him. Derek, fresh from a failed business deal, was angry and frustrated and demanded Chuck vacate his first-class seat, even though Chuck's ticket clearly indicated that he was in the correct seat. Derek insulted Chuck for his humble attire, thinking it was a sign of weakness. However, Chuck's calm demeanor and wisdom immediately changed the dynamic of the encounter. Chuck's response to Derek's aggression was a lesson in humility and respect. He explained that true success isn't measured by the clothes you wear or the seat you occupy, but by how you treat others, especially in times when no one is watching. When Derek tried to escalate the situation, Chuck revealed his identity, leaving Derek stunned and realizing the mistake he had made. Rather than respond with anger or revenge, Chuck used this opportunity to educate Derek on the value of character and the importance of lifting others up, even when they try to tear you down. Derek's embarrassment grew as Chuck continued to demonstrate the power of humility and strength. Chuck even offered Derek a seat next to him, showing him the value of genuine strength and kindness. By the end of the flight, Derek had learned a valuable lesson in humility, and Chuck's message about character, self-worth, and how true strength is measured resonated deeply with everyone who witnessed the exchange. During a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Derek Langston, an arrogant businessman, made the mistake of insulting Chuck Norris, thinking that his wealth and status would make him untouchable. Derek, fresh from a disastrous business meeting, confronted Chuck over his seat in first class, mocking his humble appearance and attire. Despite Derek's insults, Chuck remained calm and collected, replying with wisdom and humility. Chuck's unshakable presence and gentle defiance caught Derek off guard, and the entire cabin could sense a shift in the air. When Derek continued to provoke him, Chuck revealed that his true worth wasn't defined by money or appearances, but by the way he treated others, especially when no one was watching. Chuck subtly corrected Derek's perception of success and power, emphasizing that true strength comes from lifting others up, not tearing them down. Derek's insults, once aimed at belittling Chuck, only exposed his own insecurities. As the situation escalated, Chuck remained composed, even suggesting that Derek might want to check his social media. That's when Derek realized that the man he had been insulting was none other than Chuck Norris, a legendary martial artist. Instead of getting angry, Chuck offered Derek a moment of redemption, teaching him that real strength lies in humility and character. By the end of the flight, Derek had been humbled, and Chuck's powerful lesson on personal integrity had left a lasting impact on everyone on board. In a world that often values status and wealth, Chuck Norris reminded us that the true measure of a person's success isn't in their bank account, but in their ability to treat others with respect and dignity. Derek, who once judged based on appearances, left the plane with a newfound sense of humility and understanding. During a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris found himself in a confrontation with Derek Langston, a wealthy and arrogant businessman. Derek, fresh from a failed business deal, insulted Chuck for sitting in first class, assuming Chuck was just another ordinary traveler. However, Chuck remained calm and composed, challenging Derek's assumptions. As Derek continued to mock Chuck's humble appearance, Chuck pointed out that true success isn't measured by material wealth or status, but by how one treats others. When Derek further insulted Chuck, suggesting that his clothes were inferior to his own designer attire, Chuck responded with a quiet but firm lesson about strength. He explained that real strength doesn't come from belittling others, but from lifting them up. Despite Derek's increasing frustration, Chuck's presence and wisdom began to shift the energy in the cabin. It was only when Derek realized who Chuck Norris truly was that he was struck with embarrassment. The man he had been mocking was not just a celebrity, but a legendary martial artist, someone who had earned the respect of millions. Instead of retaliating, Chuck offered Derek a chance at redemption, encouraging him to reflect on his actions and change his attitude. By the end of the flight, Derek had learned an invaluable lesson. True success is about character, integrity, and how you treat others, not the suit you wear or the seat you occupy. Chuck Norris taught Derek that humility and respect are more important than wealth and power, offering a powerful reminder to all of us that real success is measured by our actions and the impact we have on those around us. During a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris had an unforgettable encounter with Derek Langston, an arrogant businessman who mocked Chuck for sitting in first class. Derek, who had just suffered a devastating business loss, was on edge and assumed that Chuck, with his worn boots and cowboy hat, didn't belong in such a prestigious seat. Derek made a snide comment about Chuck's appearance, questioning how someone like him could afford first class, which triggered a series of events that would humble Derek in front of all the passengers. Chuck, known for his calm demeanor, responded without anger, explaining that true success isn't defined by what you wear or how much you have. When Derek continued to mock him, Chuck's eyes locked onto his, and he calmly revealed that he knew more about Derek's failed business deal than he could have imagined. Chuck's ability to remain composed, while revealing that he wasn't just any ordinary passenger, turned the entire situation around. As Derek began to realize who Chuck really was, he was struck with humiliation. Chuck's wisdom and integrity began to shine through as he shared a lesson with Derek. True strength is not about putting others down, but about lifting them up, especially in moments when others try to tear you down. Rather than retaliating, Chuck showed Derek that success is about character, humility, and how you treat others, not about status or wealth. By the end of the flight, Derek had learned a valuable lesson in humility, and the other passengers witnessed a moment of redemption, where a man who had been wronged was given a chance to change and grow. Chuck Norris, once again, proved that his power lies not in his fame, but in his unwavering values and respect for others. During the flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris was confronted by Derek Langston, a businessman who had just experienced a crushing financial loss. Derek, filled with anger and frustration, mistook Chuck for an ordinary man due to his humble attire. He mocked Chuck, assuming he didn't belong in the first-class cabin. Derek, already embarrassed from his failed business deal, decided to assert his supposed superiority over Chuck. But Chuck, with his characteristic calmness, didn't react the way Derek expected. Chuck's ability to remain composed despite Derek's aggressive behavior caught the attention of other passengers. As Derek continued to insult him, Chuck revealed that he knew far more about Derek's company and its troubles than Derek could have imagined, causing Derek to falter. Chuck's wisdom and self-assurance turned the tables, making Derek realize that his wealth and status didn't define success. Chuck, rather than retaliating, calmly taught Derek a lesson on true strength. He explained that strength isn't about belittling others, but about lifting them up, even when they've tried to tear you down. Chuck also emphasized the importance of treating others with respect and humility, regardless of their appearance or wealth. Derek's attempts to maintain control of the situation backfired, and instead of continuing to mock Chuck, he became aware of his own character flaws. By the end of the flight, Derek had learned a valuable lesson in humility and self-awareness. What began as an attempt to insult Chuck Norris turned into a humbling experience that left Derek with a new perspective on success and personal growth. The lesson Chuck imparted that day wasn't about physical strength, but the power of integrity, kindness, and understanding. On a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris found himself targeted by Derek Langston, a businessman who was feeling the weight of a failed business deal. Derek, frustrated and full of arrogance, mocked Chuck for appearing to be out of place in the first-class cabin, judging him based on his humble attire. Derek's outburst only intensified when Chuck calmly responded, knowing that Derek's company had just suffered a devastating financial blow. Chuck's measured and composed demeanor caught the attention of other passengers, who began to recognize the situation for what it was. Derek had misjudged Chuck. Despite Derek's attempts to belittle him, Chuck remained unflappable, even when Derek's insults grew more intense. Chuck gently but firmly turned the situation around, revealing that true success isn't defined by wealth or appearance, but by how one treats others. He further explained that real strength is about lifting others up, not putting them down. As the tension mounted, Chuck's words began to resonate with Derek. Rather than getting defensive, Chuck offered Derek a lesson in humility and self-awareness, one that Derek wasn't expecting. Chuck's quiet confidence and wisdom ultimately led Derek to acknowledge his mistakes. He learned that success isn't just about material wealth, but about character, respect, and how we make others feel. By the end of the flight, Derek was no longer the arrogant businessman who had started the journey. He had been humbled by a legendary martial artist, and the lesson he learned was one he would carry with him for the rest of his life. What started as a confrontation became an opportunity for personal growth, with Chuck Norris teaching not just Derek, but everyone on the flight the importance of integrity and humility. On a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles, Chuck Norris became the target of an arrogant businessman, Derek Langston, who had just faced a financial setback. Derek, frustrated by a failed business deal, mocked Chuck for looking out of place in the first-class cabin due to his humble attire. Derek's insults were aimed at Chuck's appearance, questioning how someone like him could afford a first-class ticket. Despite Derek's arrogance, Chuck remained calm and composed, choosing not to retaliate immediately. As the situation escalated, Chuck revealed his true identity, and Derek's face quickly turned pale as he realized that he had been insulting the legendary martial artist. Chuck's humble demeanor and wisdom contrasted sharply with Derek's outward success, but shallow character. Chuck then took the opportunity to teach Derek a powerful lesson in humility, explaining that real success isn't about wealth or appearances, but about how one treats others, especially in moments of adversity. Chuck's quiet confidence in the face of Derek's insults earned the respect of the other passengers, who began to recognize the lesson unfolding before them. Instead of responding with anger or bitterness, Chuck used the moment to demonstrate how true strength lies in lifting others up, rather than putting them down. Derek, realizing his mistake, acknowledged his arrogance and admitted that he had misjudged Chuck. By the end of the flight, Derek's perspective had completely shifted. He was no longer the same arrogant businessman who had started the journey. He had been humbled by a man he had underestimated. Chuck's calm and thoughtful approach to handling conflict not only taught Derek a valuable lesson, but also reminded everyone on board that success and strength are defined by one's character, not material wealth. The story of Chuck Norris teaching Derek Langston a lesson in humility carries a profound message about the importance of character over wealth or status. Chuck's calm demeanor and wisdom, despite being insulted, highlight the value of treating others with respect, especially in difficult moments. The lesson is clear. True strength comes not from physical power or financial success, but from the ability to remain composed and kind, even when faced with adversity. For those of us with more years behind us, this story serves as a reminder that life isn't about how much we own or what others think of us. It's about the relationships we build, the kindness we show, and how we lift others up rather than tearing them down. As we grow older, it becomes increasingly important to reflect on our actions and to lead by example, teaching younger generations the true meaning of success, one that is grounded in integrity, empathy, and the ability to forgive. Chuck Norris's approach also teaches the value of resilience. When life challenges us, instead of responding with anger or pride, we should focus on how to grow, learn from our mistakes, and offer forgiveness to others and ourselves. This timeless wisdom encourages us to embrace humility and understand that the true measure of a person is not their wealth, but their heart. If you found this story of humility and redemption as inspiring as we did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more powerful lessons. Don't forget to share this video with your friends so they can learn from this incredible moment too. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is the true measure of success? Is it wealth, power, or something more? Let us know and join the conversation. Remember, the most valuable lessons in life often come from the most unexpected places. Stay humble, stay kind, and let's keep learning from each other. Until next time, this is your name, reminding you to keep growing, stay true to yourself, and never stop learning.